Y'all want to know how to eat for free at work? Don't steal someone's lunch. It's not very nice, right? No, you take one item from several lunch bags.
What is a corporate comedian? Well, that's what I got asked a lot because it was a new job title. Yeah, it's one I made up while I was working in comedy clubs. Now, I started out as the usual comedian working the comedy clubs since that's all I knew was comedy clubs, right? That's the route I took. I was sending out VHS tapes and making follow-up phone calls and getting booked for nights and weekends around my day job. Now, my day job was as a marketing manager for an association back in Washington, D.C., and I kept that for a couple of years while I was doing the stand-up comedy thing in the clubs. And one time during all of this, I had sort of an epiphany. I was helping put together a big conference for executives at my day job, and my boss came up with the idea of having the Capitol Steps perform at a dinner. Now, the Capitol Steps are a hilarious comedy singing troupe. They started from people who worked on Capitol Hill in D.C., and they got together to make up funny, satirical songs about politics. They got huge, and I think they now have like 3 or 4 touring troops who fly around the country performing. But this was 25 years ago, and the association I worked for was for people in the optics industry. And so we hired the Capitol Steps. They made up songs for the optics people. Yeah, they were great. One of the songs was called Hubble Trouble because the Hubble telescope was in the news a lot. It had been sent into outer space, and basically the lens was put on backwards. So optics people, including the ones at this conference, were getting a lot of flack about it. So the song parody that night, Hubble Trouble, was a huge hit. At the end of the night, too, I saw my boss hand this group a check, and I saw the amount on the check. It was big, a lot more than I was making in the comedy clubs. Nowadays, it wouldn't be that much, and they were splitting it between 5 people, but still, even one person's portion of it was more than I was making in a week in a comedy club. That's when I realized there was an opportunity for comedy at corporate and association conferences and events. Yeah, my comedian friends kept saying, no, there's only Christmas parties, but I was just convinced that there were other groups out there that would do this. So I started calling myself a corporate comedian, because I wanted to do shows for corporate and association conferences. Yeah, I'd have other comedians and people tell me that they'd never heard of a corporate comedian. Well, of course not. Like I said, I made it up. But it really helped me get my head in the game and positioned for where I wanted to go. And eventually, that's all I did was corporate keynotes and comedy at conventions. The takeaway tip from this is don't limit yourself. Make up the job and the job title that you want so you have something to aim for. And it might just turn into your reality. That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening. Feel free to check out my website, theworklady.com. This is Jan. Take care and enjoy your journey.